Hello everyone, welcome to Daily Lead Code, and today we're doing another interesting question. So question number 2006, count number of pairs with absolute difference k. Okay, so the question is pretty straightforward. So let's say we have a nums array 1, 2, 2, 1 and our k is 1. So we need to find all the pairs that will make that difference. So in this case, 1 and 2 will make 1. 1 minus 2 or 2 minus 1 is 1. Again, 2 minus 1 is 1, 2 minus 1 and 2 minus 1. So there will be total of 4 pairs. But if you read the question, it is asking us to find the absolute difference, not just the difference. So in this case, mod of n of I minus n of j should be equal to k. So if you do this question with brute force, you can easily find the solution, but we are not here to do the brute force, right? So we are here to find a better algorithm to do this question so that when you go to interview, you can show them a better solution. So let's jump to our board and try to find a better algorithm for this question. So let's take an example. We have our array 1, 3, 4, and 2, and our k value is 2 here. So let's try to find out how many pairs we can get. So as you can read in the question, it says that nums of I minus nums of j inside the mod should be equal to k. So you need to understand what is this mod doing here? What's the purpose of this mod? So the mod basically saying that we don't care if this value comes out to be positive or negative, we will always convert into positive. If this is 1 and this is 3, so 1 minus 3 is negative 2, right? But because we put that inside a mod, that will change it to 2. So in math, if we have equation x minus y inside a mod equal to k, we can write down that x minus y should be equal to k and y minus x should also equal to k. So this is what this mod translates into. And in our case, we have nums of I minus nums of j equal to k. So we need to find nums of I is equal to nums of j plus k and nums of j minus k. So if this condition satisfies, we can reach to our answer here. So if you understand this concept of mod, then I think solving this problem will become really easy. So let's proceed to the solution, how we are going to code this or how we are going to solve this problem. So in our question, we have an array 1, 3, 4, and 2. And we have k equals to 2. So we'll be using hash map here, or what we call objects in JavaScript. So every time we are looping through this array, we will be storing the values inside a hash map. So let's say we have n is equal to 1 here. In this case, this is n, right? So if n is equal to 1, what will be the 1 plus 2 and 1 minus 2 here? So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3 and 1 minus 2 equal to minus 1. Do we have either of these number inside our hash map? So initially the hash map will be empty, so neither of these values will be here. So to track those values, we need to have a counter, right? So let's take a count value, we call it c, and keep it initially 0. And because we don't find that number here inside our hash map, so c will remain 0. Now n is equal to 3 here. But sorry, I forgot one step. So when we don't find this value, we need to update this object, right? So we will put 1 at first position. So far so good. Now n is equal to 3. So what will be the 3 plus 2 and 3 minus 2? So 3 plus 2 is 5 and 3 minus 2 is 1. And we have 1 here, right? So we already have 1 in our object. So we can see that 3 and 1 will make a pair. So we will increase our count value to 1 and our new object will be 1 at 1 and 3 at 1. So far so good. Now in our case, the next n value is 4. So if we do n is equal to 4, so 4 plus 2 is 6 and 4 minus 2 is 2. We have neither of these values. So the c will remain 1 and our new object will look like 1 at 1, 3 at 1 and also 1. Now the last value we have is I think 2, right? Yeah. So when n is equal to 2, we will have 2 plus 2 equals to 4 and 2 minus 2 equals to 0. Do we have this value? We don't have any 0, but we have 4, right? So these two will make a pair. Then c will become 2 and our resultant object will be 1, 3 at 1, 4 at 1 and 2 at 1, and that's it. So we have our C value, and that is the how many pairs we will have in this array if we have k equals to 2. So I think that's the pretty neat algorithm you can use. I know this is pretty tricky to understand, but I would say like spend some time with this equation. If you're still not sure like how this is true, you can do some research, more research. But the mod of x minus y equals to k is just these two values. That x minus y, they don't care if it's negative or positive, it should be equal to 2. And let's see how to code this solution in JavaScript. So over here we have our empty hash and we have our count variable, right? So we are just looping through the array, and if we find that hash of n minus k as I showed you, we will increase our count with that value. And if we have n plus k, we will increment our hash again. So because initially the hash is empty, right? We don't have anything. So if these two condition false, which it will be at the first condition, then we will give it a value of 0 and add 1 to that. And I think that's it. If I submit this question, so our question is submitted. If we check the complexity of this algorithm, because we are just looping through it once, the time complexity of this algorithm is just of n. And if you do this question with brute force, you'll find the time complexity will be of n square. And the space complexity of this algorithm is of 1 because we are not storing any of the values in a new variable. So time complexity is of n and space complexity is of 1. And I think that's it from today's video. I'll see you tomorrow with a new LeetCode problem. Thanks a lot for watching.